Hello, this is Shona Garver, school counselor at Licking Valley High School. We know that there are a few people who are not able to make our College Credit Plus meeting, and some have come in to meet with us. We thought it might be helpful if we put out a video with some of the important information that could also act as your informational meeting. So that's the goal of this presentation. The presentation I'm showing you is the basic one that we used at our meeting, and it has information about advanced placement courses in it as well. I'm going to go through that part pretty quickly. It's important information. Feel free to pause the video and read through the slides in more detail. I'm also attaching to the email I'm sending out our informational flyer, which has this information in a lot of detail. But the state does not require that you go through a meeting about AP, so I'm going to cover that part quickly and then try to get through the CCP information without taking too much of your time. So dual credit is any opportunity for a student to earn college and high school credit at the same time. And at Licking Valley High School, students can do that in a couple ways. Through AP classes, which are advanced placement courses, or through College Credit Plus. So AP classes are classes that students take at Licking Valley High School. They're taught by high school teachers following a syllabus that's approved by College Board. AP exams are taken at the end of the course, and students who receive a high enough score can earn college credit for those classes. Okay, now in kind of a difference to that, we have the dual credit opportunity of College Credit Plus. This is a state program that the state of Ohio enacted, and this is when a student actually takes a college course as a high school student. Now, we have one College Credit Plus class that's offered in our building, and that is CAP, Kenyan Academic Partnership English. Mr. Miller teaches it. He is certified, has a master's in English, and is certified with Kenyan, has gone through special training with them to be able to teach CAP. And students who take CAP English complete 2 English courses through Kenyon College and get 8 semester hours of English for successfully completing the courses. There's no exam at the end like an AP test. It's just run like a college class. Other students that take CCP classes can take them actually through the college itself, not in our building. And that can be done on the college campus or online. And we have students that do both of these types of delivery. So when we're talking about AP, it's college level content at a college pace with high school support. We do have weighted credit and grade. So our AP classes are 1.5 credits, and if they get a solid C or higher, the point value that goes into the GPA is 1 point higher. So instead of an A being 4 points in their GPA, it's worth 5. A B is worth, instead of 3 points, it's worth 4. It gives a little bit of kind of helps offset the risk of taking the class because they are much harder than a college prep class, and also rewards students for that level of work. And I'll let you read through this in more detail on your own, and if you have questions, let us know. This goes through our list of AP classes we have at the high school. There are a lot of benefits to taking AP classes. One of the things I think is most important is the level of rigor really helps students prepare for the college level. This chart goes through and gives an example if a student took these 5 classes that we offer and got a 3 on each of the tests. They are scored in 1 to 5 scale, so the 3 is kind of the mid score. And this student in particular went to Miami of Ohio. You can get on their website and look up what credits they offer. This student would get about 22 semester hours of college credit for these 5 AP classes. So it just gives you a little bit of an idea of how those hours can be handed out. In the state of Ohio, there is a rule that any student who gets a 3 or higher on an AP exam will get college credit at any public institution in Ohio. If they go private or out of state, that is up to the school, but it is true that about 90% of colleges do give credit for AP classes. So College Credit Plus, that's kind of really where we want to focus this time, is, like I said, a law that is in place, started in the 2015-16 school year in Ohio. So all public schools in Ohio participate in this. CCP is intended to increase access to college courses for public school students. It's open to students in grades 7 to through 12 that demonstrate college readiness. So students have to demonstrate that they are ready to take college classes academically in order to be able to participate. And the colleges get to set that criteria. Often colleges will use ACT scores or a college placement exam called the AccuPlacer in order to determine if a student is ready for college level work. So please refer to the LVHS dual credit handout for detailed information. It's going to be attached to the email I'm sending out. You can find it on our website as well. But there's a lot of more detailed information there that is worth taking the time to look through if your student is considering doing this. I'm going to try to highlight some of the important things here. State law requires that any student who is participating has had a parent attend an informational meeting covering the benefits and risks of CCP. And so you have to do that one time. If you've done it in the past, even if it's for a different student, that's fine. That fulfills that requirement. And then we're making this video. This also is considered, our office will consider that your informational meeting. So you can sign off on the form saying that you've been informed if you watch this full video. So benefits of CCP. Participating students can earn college credit at little to no cost for the family. The LV district will pay for college credits, books, and general fees at public and some private colleges. So for example, MVNU is a private institution near us. Private schools that participate, private universities, are allowed to charge the family, but a lot of them are not. And MVNU is an example of this, that they've decided in order to stay competitive with public schools that they'll not charge the family and they just charge the base fee to the school, and that's all that they charge. So families are responsible for certain fees like transportation and parking passes, calculators, things like that would fall back on the family. But again, the district would pay for college credits, books, and general fees at public universities and some private. Students can broaden and deepen their academic options through CCP and take courses not offered at Licking Valley High School. So that's really the goal of the program. Each year that a student is going to participate in College Credit Plus, they have to submit an intent to participate form the year before that by April 1st to the counseling office. So for us, that's over spring break. So they'll want to get that into us before spring break. Filing the form states that you as a parent have been advised of the rules of CCP risks and benefits by attending a meeting or by watching this video. And so by signing off on that, you say you are informed of that information, and it also secures funding for your student for the next year. After they file the intent to participate form, then students will apply directly to the college that they're interested in or colleges, whichever they're interested in. And then they need to let their school counselor know so we can send supporting documents, things like test scores if we have them, or transcripts, things like that, sometimes a letter of recommendation. Each college will set their own acceptance guidelines, and so whether or not a student is accepted is not up to us. The college will set their guidelines and they'll make the determination of whether or not the student gets in. If a student is accepted to a college for CCP, they will be assigned an academic advisor, and it is the student's responsibility to meet with their academic advisor at the college and their school counselor at the high school to coordinate schedules. And so that is up to them, and there's a real level of responsibility on the student there. We will do the best that we can within the master schedule that we have at the high school to accommodate the students' needs. So many of our students who are CCP take like a half day at the high school and then they maybe leave after fifth period and go out to the college or university for the afternoon, or maybe they start at the college in the morning, come to us in the afternoon. Students are not allowed to miss high school or college classes. So each semester, the schedule must allow the student to be in all of their high school and college classes without leaving early, coming late, missing anything like that. And there has to be enough time for them to safely travel between campuses. Students may take courses required for high school graduation through the college, but they must seek approval from their high school counselor before the class is started if they want it to count for a high school requirement. We've had a little bit of issue with this where colleges have said to a student like, oh yeah, this communications class will count as an English. But there are very specific rules about what students have to take for us to hand them a diploma, and communications can't count for English. So they need to, anything they're expecting to count for a graduation requirement, they need to come and check with us and make sure that it will actually count before they, they expect that to happen and start the course. CCP courses that are in a subject that matches one of our AP courses will have a weighted GPA. So the way the law is written is that if we weight the GPA in an AP course in the same subject area, then we'll weight the GPA in the CCP course in that subject area. If we don't have an AP course in the subject area, it is not a weighted class. So for example, we do offer AP English, so a comp class or an English class on a college campus, the GPA would be weighted. We do not offer like AP Economics. So if a student took economics on a college campus, it would not be weighted. Students may take the equivalent of 30 semester hours of credit in one school year. The school year starts June 1st. 3 semester hours equal one high school credit and vice versa. So you do have a cap. That means that if a student is taking credits at the high school, the equivalent of that number of semester hours is deducted from that 30 total for the year. So if a student was taking 4 high school credits at Licking Valley, they will have the ability to take 18 semester hours on a college campus. Anything above the 30-hour cap is paid for by the student's family, if that makes sense. So in this example, we have the 4 high school credits, multiply that by 3 for the semester hours. That's equivalent of 12 of those semester hours. 30 minus 12 would leave that student with 18 potential semester hour credits. And they can take classes over the summer, but they have to be careful not to go over that 30-hour cap. Risks. These are important and really worth taking the time to understand. CCP classes are college classes. Students will not have any of the supports in place that they do at the high school, meaning that many colleges don't even tell their professors which of their students are CCP students. Under FERPA, the Federal Education Right to Privacy Act, parents are not allowed to talk to the university unless a student signs a waiver. Even then, professors, in most cases, will not speak with you. Um, Students are expected to be ready to complete college work independently, like any other college student. And you as a parent cannot call and request a conference or, want to email the professor and talk to them. Your student is there as a college student. They have to be ready for that level of independence. Colleges do not have jump rope, so there's no expectation of the professors to be posting grades online. There are no parent-teacher conferences. And if a student fails a course or if they drop it after the date to drop without cost, the entire cost of the class falls to the family. It gets added to your student school fees at Licking Valley, and they cannot walk at graduation until they are paid. This is a big deal and it happens. And that's why we have to really make sure you understand. We saw this law went into act in about 2015-16. I would estimate we've probably had students fail maybe 7 or 8 times, and so we have fees going on the students' bills of $600 to $1,000 for a course. So that's a really big deal if that happens, and unfortunately, it does happen sometimes. So your student really has to be ready for this. Um, Keep in mind as well as a parent, your student will be with other students of all ages. Be prepared for conversations with your child about being put in study groups or with partners who could be much older. That person could be 40, they could be 21. But just understand that they're in there as a full participant in the class, and you've got to be ready for that kind of situation as well. CCP classes go into both the student's high school and college GPA. This is a really good thing if they're doing well, but it's a big risk if the grades are not what your student is hoping for. All CCP courses must be transferred to the next institution. It is not an option for them to kind of pretend like this didn't happen and not transfer forward. When they apply to college as a freshman, they're going to have to say where else they have attended school, and they have to transfer those credits or it's considered basically cheating. It's considered to be academic dishonesty. So that could be a really big deal. The student's GPA, if it is low enough, it could impact their academic standing right at the beginning of their college career. And could impact financial aid because in order for a student to continue to receive financial aid, they have to have a high enough GPA. So each student situation is unique. There's no correct answer on what your child should do. There's important benefits and risks, and each option you need to consider your child's individual goals and aspirations. So talk with your student's counselor and subject area teachers. And also, I strongly recommend contacting admission departments of colleges. Now, this would be something your student should do. They could reach out to college admissions and ask them about what they would recommend. Depending on the school, they may get very different answers. Highly selective schools, private schools, schools out of state, they have flexibility here and can determine whether or not they're willing to accept CCP credits. If your student's going to a public institution in Ohio, we know that the credits will transfer, but the school gets to decide what they'll transfer as, if they're going to be transferred in as electives or not. So there's a lot of important things to consider before you make this step.